Hi there. In this video, we're going to explain how to design buttons with images of shirts and numbers, like you can see in this picture. To create this type of button, we need two things, the shirt and the font we'll use for the number. To do this, we're going to use two external apps that can be found for free on the internet. The first one is dafont.com. It's a page where you can download any free font that you want. At the top, there's a menu where you can find all the fonts, organised by theme or style. There are hundreds of fonts that can be used in any project. For our example, we're going to open the old school type fonts, which we like a lot and remind us of 80s football jerseys. Here, we've opted for the Freshman font. Before we download the font, we can preview what the numbers look like. In this box, simply write the numbers 1 to 10 and hit the Submit button. This looks good, so let's download this font. Click the download button and the download begins. We open the downloaded file and then install the font. In our case, we've already installed this font on the computer, so we won't continue with the process. Remember that this font is just an example. You can download and install as many of these fonts as you want, but please note that since these are free-to-use fonts created by anonymous users, you should check that they work okay in the program first. Okay, let's now create the shirts. We start by opening the website boxy-svg.com. This is an online application which allows us to work with vector files. Vector files allow us to easily change the colour of the shirts and the borders without compromising the image quality. Let's open the application. In the File menu, we click Open from Disk and select the file shirts-football.svg. This is a file that our design team has created specifically for the task of creating shirts. If you would like this file, we're happy to send it to you free of charge. The description of this video contains instructions on how to request it. As you can see, there are 6 predefined designs. The shirt models are exactly the same, but you can create them with any colour you want. Select a shirt, right-click and select Copy. We'll now open a new project from the File menu so we're not overwriting the original file. Right-click and select Paste to add the shirt to the new project. To edit the colours, go to the Objects menu in the right-hand column. Group represents the elements that make up the shirt. Path represents each of the separate elements. Path at the top is the blue background of the shirt, and the bottom one is the white trim. If we select the trim, we can change the colour in the Fill menu. Let's change it to yellow to demonstrate this, and then return it to its original white. We can also do this with the main colour of the shirt. We can choose any colour we want. Try changing it to the colours of your own club. To do this, import a file with your club's badge. In this example, we've chosen the Sevilla FC badge, which we previously downloaded. Note that in the Object menu, the badge is represented as Image. This will be important later, so we know which element to delete. Now, click on the path which represents the main part of the shirt, and then click on the Fill tool. From here, use the eyedropper tool to select the colour we want, and the jersey will change colour automatically. Before exporting the shirt, we have to delete the badge image. Now, select Group to ensure we export the full image, and then, in the File menu, select the Export to Disk option. Select the options PNG and Selection. Next, input the size of the image we want to create. In this example, we'll use a width of 50 because we just need a small button. Make sure the lock is closed to keep the measurements proportional and the DPI is at least 300 to ensure its quality. We then select RGB and generate a preview to make sure it looks fine, and then click Export. Now we have our team's jersey ready to use. We can also make a shirt with different colours to represent the goalkeeper. For example, dark green, which contrasts well with the red. Okay, we now return to Nacsport in order to create the buttons with the player's shirts and numbers. The first thing we do is to create a new button. But what measurement should the new button have? We select the shirt we have already created and use these measurements as a reference. 61 wide, 56 high. Double-click on the template and a button is created with the same properties as the last button we created. Now we change the dimensions and add an image to the button, a red shirt. As this is a PNG image, the shirt is pasted in the center and the background is transparent. To change the button text, we have two options. Either change the button name or use a nickname. We advise using the second option. If you use a nickname, you can assign the player's name as the name of the button, but the text is seen as a number. For example, the name of the button is name number 6, and the nickname is simply 6. When you see this in the timeline later, the full name of the button will be visible, not the nickname. The next step is to change the font color and type. Note, even though the button has a transparent background, there is always a color assigned to it. If the background color is white, you won't be able to choose a font of the same color. To solve this, simply change the background color from white to any other color. The change of color will not be noticeable, but it will now allow us to insert a white font. In the font selection window, we find the font we installed earlier. Freshman, right? We choose the font style, size and color. Check the results and change it if it's necessary. For the moment, we're using single-digit numbers, but if you'll be using double digits at any point, try them now to make sure that they fit inside the image. In our example, we'll reduce the font a little bit. Before finishing, we're going to remove the counter from the button. We do this so that the shirts can be placed together without causing interference. We now have our shirts placed and ready to go. We place it next to the others and use the clone option to create the rest of the shirts at the same time. We've already created 2, so we need 8 more so we can represent the full 10 outfield players. We're going to manually place the players to create a clear 4-4-2 formation. We repeat the process to create a goalkeeper button. We can now begin to align the buttons. To find out more about this, check out the first video in this series which is dedicated to that. Now, you'll have to change the names of the buttons and their nicknames one by one to get your final 11. So, there you have it, a visual representation of your team, perfectly aligned on your template. We hope this video has been useful to you. If you have any questions about the process, you can contact us on any of our social media channels. Until then, thanks for watching.